Hello YouTube. I know it's been a while since I've done a video, so I appreciate everybody's patience waiting for a new update or a video from me. And I appreciate all the new subscribers I have. So without further ado, let's see what's going on. What we're going to do is we're just going to do an update on just all the tanks, all the new equipment and different things that I do for water changing and the automatic water system in the corner there. We're going to go over that in another video. So the first tank up here we have our Philippine Blue Angels. These are second generation from Angels Plus stock from my friend down in Sarnia. So I got 8 of them off of him, and I figured, well, I'll get 8, that way for sure I should get a couple pairs out of it. And luck of the draw, every single one is a girl. So with everything going on right now, I'm just waiting for things to settle down and everything to be able to travel again, and then exchange some, because of course he's got lots of boys. Go figure. So hopefully soon we can get that sorted out, and then we can get some nice quality angels from my fisher. So up here we also got some brown bushy nose. Got lots of girls, lots of boys. I'm just starting to get to the age where they start figuring things out and start breeding. Nothing out of them yet. And then we're going to go over to the next top tank. So that tank there, I forgot to mention, is a 40-gallon breeder. This is on my first rack of the 4 racks that I have. So in this 40-gallon breeder to the left, we have these guys up here. So we got 2 boys in here, and I'm not sure. I got lots of girls. I think we got at least 8 or 9 girls or more in here. And I'm going to hit the button on the automatic feeder. And also in here, we have some Synodontis petricola. Take a second for them to figure out there's food. So we got around 6 to 8 of them in here, I believe. I've had them for a while now, almost close to getting on 2 years. Just waiting for them to grow up and mature. I got some marbles recently and some plastic container and some more flower pots. And then they're going to get their own tank soon. And I'm going to try my hand in breeding them. There's also one here which I was hoping they would come out that is more of a leucistic type. It's not quite, but it's fairly yellow, pale in color. And so not albino, but just much paler in color, to being what appears to be a leucistic type. Well, it's about 1 o'clock on a Saturday, and usually what happens here is the lights don't come on until 7, so I got them on a little bit earlier to film this. And then they stay on all night long, and they get fed all night long. It's a little bit off their normal time patterns for them right now. So we'll jump to the next tank. Alright. So in this tank here is the first of the 20-gallon talls. We got a bunch of blood dragon peacocks. Just growing them up. Also, we got some Labia tropheus field bordi. that I bred some, and I just kept back to about, I think it was around 6 or 8 of the OB ones. I've always liked the OBs, and not sure if I'm gonna set up a tank for them or just grow them up and just bring them into the store later on. But that's what the tank is for, is that guy right there. So then we got Sinotilapia kobu. There's the one male in there, and there's about 4 girls. And we also got some albino bushy-nosed plecos in there. Next tank, we have some ribbon fin guppies. And then we have some more of the albino bushy-nosed plecos, just like in the tank next door there. So these ones here, I let the babies grow up and be born and grow up with the parents. I'm going to talk more about it in a minute, why I find that's actually a better way to go. And also, if that tank to the right there, what I do is once the eggs are developed and just before they're free swimming on their own, I will take them from that cave to the right with that male there and put them in this tank to grow up with the other babies that come out of this caves. Now, this tank used to be a bluegrass guppy line. I just didn't have the time, also at the time, an extra tank to kind of keep the line pure, so I've kind of just let it go. So I basically at this point is what they call mutt guppies. Not a big fan of the term, but basically just kind of let it do its thing. Bring them in the store once they get to size, which most of them are. And as you can see, the tank's a little bit dirty. It's way overdue for me to get in there and thin back all that guppy grass, because it is pretty thick. So there's the depth of the tank. So that's how much guppy grass is in there in a 20-gallon high. And then we got, this tank's got a bit of a mix. We got a male albino bushy-nosed pleco. There's a gold male bushy-nosed pleco in here. And there's one female super red and one albino super red. And one gold female bushy-nosed pleco in here. So a bit of a mixed bag. I tend to get a lot of browns, so that first 40-gallon breeder to the right that you saw that had all those brown plecos, that's what these guys seem to produce. I'll get a little bit of albinos out of them, like there's one down there. But I don't get a lot of albinos out of them, or golds. Tend to produce a lot of browns, which is okay. The browns are, I find, a really nice pattern on them that you saw in that first tank up there. Okay, so another 20-gallon tank. In here we have a whole whack of plecos. So you can see all the different dates. And then, so we got super reds, and super reds. Okay. So there's some more browns that last pair you saw, or pairs actually, produced all these browns. And we had all the super reds. Right now, most of them are just all hiding up in the bacopa. So in here we have some bacopa monneria that I just put in the tank and I just let it do its thing. So a lot of it grows out of the water. Keep the humidity around here around 45–50%, so it does quite well. Just really good at absorbing all the nitrates and the phosphates. Especially with our tap water, we actually have phosphates introduced. So that can cause some string algae problems that either we'll talk about now or in a different video. Okay, last tank on this first rack. And here we have some cherry shrimp. Most of them that produce are bloody reds, super reds, you know, depending on the actual grade of the individual at the time that we're looking at. But for the most part, most of them are bloody Marys. And also in here we have some dwarf blue crayfish. And in this tank are these guys. Okay. So there's tons in here. One little trick if you're ever doing dwarf crayfish, doesn't matter if it's blues or orange or whatever types, this really helps. So what this is this is from Angels Plus, and when they make their sponge filters and they go to do that core for the foam, you have this plug left over. So what they do is basically you get like a 1 gallon bag's worth, which is like standard 8 by 18, I think it's, yeah, but about 8 by 18 bag, and they just jam full of all this leftover material, and it's fairly cheap, and it just makes a great cover all the way to the back, and that way all the babies can do their things. Like there's one baby right there with the dwarf crayfish, and that way you don't get any predation from the adults to the babies, and you get a little bit less aggression from the adults. So I find that makes a big difference, because you wouldn't really think that there's probably a lot of crayfish in here. Well, trust me, there is. The last time I went through this tank, oh, it's been probably about 6 months now or more. I was bringing some up to a store local to me, and I easily pulled 25 out of here, and I still lost lots of adults. Okay, so let me go on to our second rack. So up here are 15s on the top, and we have the other type of blue dwarf crayfish that I keep. Again, lots of foam. Now, the other difference is with the blue dwarf crayfish, they're not going to show the really nice blue colors unless they're kept in soft acidic water. These guys have a little bit more color only because the substrates in here, it's not ADA, but it's more of acidic type substrate. It's not fluval stratum either, but it's something similar to that. So you get a little bit more color out of them, but that's why both of these tanks, you're not seeing any major blue colors on them, just because they're just regular tap water. My tap water is around 7.4, 7.6 on the pH scale, and around 200 parts per million of hardness. Okay, so the next tank over here, we have some placidochromis fenuchilis. So we got a young male here. He just started breeding with the girls on January the 13th. And this is one spawn that's in here right now. And he's got 3 more girls on the back, honey behind the sponge filters right now. And also got some more bacopa up there to provide some more cover and help with some of the nutrient levels. Okay, next tank here. These guys here, I'm not really sure exactly what you want to call them. Everybody's going to have their own opinion. I call them pastel guppies. So there's a nice mature female there, and a juvenile female to the left. And what's nice about these guys is that the females get some really nice color to them. So this tank here is mostly just some females that I like the patterns on them, that allow them to drop up here. There is one male up here that I picked out. Try and keep the line more of a line bred line. And there's some babies in there in the back, tons of guppy grass. And then I have another tank down below that you'll see the rest of them. But we're just going to continue on the top row. Okay, so over in here we have some tuxedo koi guppies. From January the 6th. And then in here we have my ocellatus golds. There's one of the females. And that is the male right there. And there's another one of the girls. Now they do have babies, but they're really shy and they're hard to show up on the camera. But yeah, this trio is doing quite well, even in a 15-gallon tank, so I'm very happy with this. Okay, so now we're going to jump down to the middle row of this second rack. So this camera gets in focus. Okay, so in here we have black Moscow guppies. And lots of super reds. Got a few males in here. And lots of babies. Okay. So, I was saying before that I found that it's best to keep the babies in with the parents. So these guys here, there's 2 generations here. Okay. So this bigger one, right there, okay, to the right, that was born on October 25th. And the one to the left there is December 10th. And if we come back to this other tank I was showing you earlier, okay, so there's our dates. So we'll just talk about just the super reds. So September 2nd, super reds went in here. And then the 16th, we got super reds in here. And September 22nd, we put super reds in here. Okay. Yes, there's lots of Plecos, but they get lots of green beans, algae wafers, and also some rapashi on a rotating basis. Okay. And that's the size of these guys. Now there's going to be some variance. Again, unfortunately, most of them are all hiding up top right now, and I don't want to disturb them. So, yeah, a lot of people talk about, say, oh, detritus is horrible. You know, these tanks aren't too bad. They keep fairly clean. They got 2 good-sized sponge filters to them. But really, it just allows for more microfauna to grow, especially when the babies are first born. And I find it gives them more nutrition and just more constant diet as well. And they just seem to do so much better when they're left in the parents and you do have some mulm in the tank. Okay. Okay, so next tank. Oh, I forgot to mention this middle row of the second rack. These are all 20-gallon talls. So in here we have more pairs of super red bushy-nosed Plecos. And we got some Cory cats as well. So these got some albino long-fin Cory cats. We also got some pandas in here. These guys here were born on December the 30th. Alright, so up in here, these are my pastel guppies. I've had these guys for a while. Another reason why I have that tank up there is so I can kind of more selectively breed them. So I'm trying to get the nice long tails and more of a solid white color to them. When I first got them, they were more of a yellow with a little bit of a white, so I'm kind of trying to get more of a nice white body with the long tails. A lot of these males that are in here do have shorter tails, so working on that. Show you a top-down look of them. We'll give them a little bit of food so they all kind of congregate here. And we also have some red lizard whiptails in here. Best I can tell, these are the aquarium strain ones. Got a couple different size pipes in here, but I haven't had really much luck with them yet. I don't have this tank on a heater. Generally the room will run around 77 to 80 degrees for just the room. So obviously the tanks are a little bit cooler, especially right now I don't have tops on them. Last time I checked, this tank was running around 76. I know, on warmer days when the room's around 80. Today the room's around 76 because it is freaking cold outside. So I think I'm going to get a heater in here and either move them out to their own tank with a heater, or might move the guppies. Kind of have to decide. So if anybody's had any experience breeding the red lizard riptails and has some suggestions, I'd really appreciate some advice on that. So just leave some comments down below there. And as you'll see, there's 2 more racks after this one. I'm only halfway through the second rack, so there's so much stuff I have, and I definitely got to thin some stuff out and move some stuff around a little bit. And right now I'm actually getting ready to pack up an order to take to my local fish store soon, so that'll definitely free up some tanks. And that's exactly what this tank is for. So this one here, what I do is, these are all males right now, all from the ribbon fin guppy tank. And there's 1 female in there, because I am starting to get ready for packing an order for tomorrow. And we got some bushy nose plecos in here that are going to go to the store. So what I do with the divider is, when I'm generally getting ready to order, I'm going through a tank, what I'll do is I'll put the females on one side and the males on the other, so in the morning it's much easier to pack it. Right now I've already taken the females in the other day. I just didn't have chance to pack up the males. Actually no, they weren't ready for the males, so that'll be going in tomorrow. So right now I'll have them on both sides of the divider so they have lots of room. Okay, and then on the bottom of this rack here, these are 15-gallon tanks. And then here we got 2 female electric blue crayfish, waiting for a male to come into my local fish store. Down here we have some Juliachromis Mark Smithi, formerly known as Juliachromis regani capilli. So down here we have polar blue balloon convicts. Now, those that know me know that I'm not really a convict fan, for obvious reasons, for people that know what they are. But these guys are quite nice. I find that they're not a rapid spawner like the typical convicts, which is quite nice. And I have a spawn of them that you'll see on the 3rd rack. That's all 10-gallon tanks that most right now has got grow outs and fry on there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the video here, and I'm going to do this in at least 2, maybe 3 parts, because like I said, there's still 2 more whole racks to show. I don't want this first video to be really long. So I appreciate you guys watching. Again, thanks for all my subscribers that hanged in there. With it being so long since I've done a video. And I hope you guys enjoy the next part to come up. Take care.